All right, starting on the tie down for the Standard L, MX, Grand L. There's a couple other models. The M's are not one of them. We are making a modified one for the M's, as well as the L3200. Also, looks like we need a little more distance between those bends. Regardless, that's not the scope of this video. We're gonna show installing this on a 4701. It's a 2020 model, or it was purchased 2020. Tractor model, year models are a bit of a wishy-washy way to label them. All right, so I like to use a floor jack and a block of wood. And what I do is I don't pick up on this. I gently let this hover, and then I'll loosen my bolts, right? So loosen your bolts out of there. Always leave one. I like to leave the top left, top right's fine too, right? That way if something happens after you're taking these out, you're not, you're not at risk of this thing hitting you in the head or anything like that. Let's see if I can get it started. All right, so let me pull this bottom one out. All right, so you've got 3 out, right? And this thing's just kind of wiggling and it's on here. You can run a ratchet strap around here. We have customers that rig a ratchet strap to the loader. I can't recommend that, but they've done it. We have our loader stops, like our safety chocks in. We make them in 1/8 inch. We make them in 3/16. We can make them in 1/4 inch. And we make them to fit your cylinder, as well as your cylinder bore. We had some issues where some of our longer ones, we didn't have enough leg length, so we've rectified that. Just shoot us an email again if you have any questions. But this is like airbags, right? We don't randomly just use our airbags until we need them. So don't set the loader down on these. These are in here for a failure of the system. Now, the system will leak down, but they're designed for a failure, right? So do not set your cylinder on these safety chocks. You just put them in there for safety reasons, right? All right, I don't like anything over my head. All right, so now we're gonna take the 4th one out, and here is our plate. I think that this is gonna be, in the way, this wood block. Maybe I have my wood block too wide, but we'll sneak it in from the bottom, and we can see if we can knock this thing over on ourselves. All right. Made it sound easy, didn't I? All right, so I'm gonna sneak it in here. We've got one of our belly pans or skid plates on here, so I'm gonna use that as a shelf to cheat. All right, so then you go back with this guy here. And then what I like to do is just, pick a hole, pick whichever one you can line up. I'm just gonna go top right. So once you get one bolt started, it's obviously a little bit easier. We do have longer bolts included with the kit, right? That's another thing the M guards do not share with the Standard L's, is they use a larger 16 millimeter thread. This is a 14. All right, so we're gonna get this started. Again, this is gonna be the fiddly part. Lower your jack just a little bit so you can get a little bit of play. Again, don't lower onto your head. All right. So bolt, block washer. All right, again, these are included. These are M14, fine thread. And then we also have the M16s for the M guards. And again, we've modified that. We had a customer purchase one for an M and it did not fit. So we have fixed that for him. And like I said, that has been taken care of. All right, so these are started. All right, so just wiggle. And again, you don't want to pick the tractor up with the jack. You're just supporting this for when you take the bolts out of it. So now we've got our 2 top ones started. I'm gonna risk it and I'm gonna lower down the jack so that I have a little more access. All right, so you're transferring the washers off of your old bolts. No need to purchase those. You'll get 4 of these bolts. I believe they're 60 millimeter in length. All right, so see how we have all 4 started? All right, now you take whatever. Trying to get this, this thing does not sit. It's got some slop in the holes, so you need to make sure that this thing is vertical. For sake of the video, I'm not gonna worry about that because I've got to take this back off. All right, so that's tight, that's on there. You can check that with the torque wrench and look up the, I'm not sure if they're gonna call out the torque on that, but you can do a generic torque calculation for that size bolt, which is an M14. So that's pretty much it, right? So you've got it sandwiched behind this plate. So you do have to take this off, but to alleviate having to lift it and everything like that, grab you a floor jack. You can run a ratchet strap around here, tighten that down, and make sure that it's not going to fall off of there. But all you're really doing is just kind of supporting it so that you can wiggle it to install it. Again, this is our front chin guard, so obviously you would have to install this at the same time, but you get your 2 bolts started and then you can install your 2 lower bolts through here, right? So what I just did was I did the first 2. Well, you would do it in the same order, except you would have this here and you would put the bolts to the front of that. So, alrighty, thanks guys. Hopefully more videos to come, a little higher production quality, but I've been promising that for years, so don't hold your breath. Thanks.